Haiku universe. This is Javier. Super excited to be here. Today, I have a very special interview with a mentor, a person that I've been following for a few years now. First started off with his course. Well, first started off watching his YouTube videos about the XRP. Then I got into his course and then to his university. And he's been a great mentor ever since, continuously educating the community and putting a lot of his effort and his resources to letting us know as much as possible. Without further ado, I'd love to introduce the Bearable Bull. How are you doing, Bull?
Hello, my friend. I hope we have this aggressively average conversation that reaches the masses. I'm excited to be here, brother. I've seen you grow over the years through the program and just yeah, I'm really excited to speak with your audience and whoever from my audience gets a chance to meet you as well. I think they're going to enjoy what it is you do. So, really excited, brother.
Appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Um, I know definitely right now it's a very exciting time as we're heading into the new year, and this new bull run that's going on. If you've been a part of Bearable Bulls, following him on YouTube, social media, and all of that, you'll know that very special coins like ICP and Chainlink each have done a tremendous job, and it's just the beginning. And it's really cool to these last few years, especially we've seen Terra Luna, FTX, a lot of these major corporations and politicians consistently attacking crypto and the bounce back and to be able to stick it through those years. I'm very happy to be here. And it's because, I've been following the bull. And just real quick, bull, for my audience, because, they're pretty new to the crypto space. Um, how did you get into crypto? Like what brought you in?
So my crypto journey started really in 2016, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I actually found it through a friend who was buying weed online, and he used that Bitcoin to get it mailed to him. Please don't come after me, FBI. I know you want me already. Just stop. But in all seriousness, yeah, that was the initial way I heard of it. Then I put some money in. I was lucky enough to get in while prices were still low in 2016, and then I saw things really begin exploding in 2017, like the altcoins, for example. I saw Ethereum at $8, got in, sold it all at 40, and then eventually a couple months later, it got to be 1400. So I made money, but I lost out on a lot more. So it's one of those things where I've definitely been through the growing pains more than most people. Right, I've seen it all. So it's uh it's a great opportunity. It's a great market, but it could be ruthless for sure.
Yeah, it's amazing. I can only imagine what it feels like to see something $8 to $1,400. That's
In a
just
few months, that's what it is. In a few months, yeah, yeah, yeah.
sounds like ultimate euphoria, to
Hmm.
be honest. And just to talk a little bit about your upbringing, um, what inspired you, or what about your upbringing led you to entrepreneurship?
I think I'm a big believer that um, we choose our parents before we're born. I'm a big believer in that. A lot of people may think that's woo, but that's just me. My mom, she's always been very much a visionary and thinks outside the box. And my dad has always been like a more businessman, charismatic personality type of person. So you put those two together, you got me. And yeah, that's really it. I There was a moment where I read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad after a few years of not even reading books at all. And things just clicked, right? Things just clicked. I knew that the college 9 to 5, then 401k, maybe retire one day with a pension if the government didn't steal it already. I knew that that was a system that was dying. It seems like we're on our last leg of that system. And to be honest, um, I think if you're not thinking outside the box now, you're going to get left behind and trapped. And it's something that we're all going to inevitably have to be forced into or suffer. So, yeah, I hope that answers your question, bro.
No, that's incredible. I mean, I agree with like not necessarily that you choose your parents. I'm not too entirely sure about But um, I'm really glad to hear how your parents' influence has helped you become the man that you are today. And it makes perfect sense, you being the visionary that you are and always shedding light on so much information, as well as having that business and entrepreneurship mindset. And, typically, especially in the crypto space, because um, it makes sense why you would want to be anonymous because there's so many things that go on to crypto. And
Hmm.
just because you've seen so much crypto, so many things going in crypto since the beginning of it, what made you want to also create content and share the truth of crypto, knowing how crazy and wild, wild west it can be?
Yeah, when I first started my channel, I was very, very passionate about the space. It was right after the 2017 bull run and to the point where the market had been correcting already. So I was kind of bag holding, is what we like to call it. So I was holding some cryptos that were down quite a bit because I invested a little higher. So, like I said before, I've been through some growing pains, but I was passionate about the technology because it made sense, right? We're going into a technological age. We're going into a space where things will inevitably get adopted, right? Um, but when you look at it from an overhead view, and as far as my life goes, the reason I really wanted to make content is to wake up as many people as I possibly could. I think crypto is a little tribalistic and there are too many ideologies in it. And I'm just trying to break that spell and tell people, hey, listen, like at the end of the day, it's about making money and freeing yourselves one by one, not about what ideal could happen with crypto. I used to be stuck in ideals, and that's why I didn't make any money or didn't make as much money as I could have in 2017. So, really trying to give people the right mindset with some experience so they can learn from my mistakes as opposed to going through their mistakes.
Very interesting. And I noticed that, within the crypto space, there's a lot of different avenues that, I would love people to know about. Like I've seen crypto being used in environmentalist ways. I've seen it used as an art form through NFTs, which is really popular and people know about. Um, I've seen pretty much Bitcoin be like a store of value, pretty much that's very highly secure, almost like a digital type of gold. I noticed that a lot of the cryptocurrencies that that you share a lot about are specifically kind of in the payment space, like XRP, um, Stellar H bar, these different things like that. What made you dive into that space a little bit more than the other ones?
Sure. The big reason why is because that space hasn't seen price discovery yet. Like that specific niche needs a lot of infrastructure to be built around it to succeed. And when I say things like that, people begin to doze off and get very bored, right? Because I every single day I talk about the most boring topic in the world, which is banking. And then to couple that, I talk about one of the most complex topics in the world, which is technology within crypto. So combine that together, and like 99% of people fall off immediately. So this
Right.
isn't a space where it's it's really survival of the fittest, and only the strong will survive. The reason this payment space is so important is because you see all the discussions about currencies failing around the world, the Turkish lira, hyperinflation in Argentina, the Venezuelan bolivar. A lot of currencies are failing, and El Salvador has actually been adopting Bitcoin, and look at how they're beginning to thrive as a country. We're going into a different revolution as far as payments are concerned and the payment system around the world. For example, with Russia and China and Iran and Saudi Arabia, they're pivoting away from what it used to be. And I like to say, if you are seeing a transition take place, try and get yourself in between that, in between the old system and the new. Find a way to get it in there, and I think you'll get rich by accident. Right.
Well said. Yeah. I mean, right.
I hope that makes sense because it's
Makes incredible sense. I think what a lot of people could gain from that in the community is that A lot of times people are looking for some special type of delivery that connects with them, that entertains them at the same time. They're looking for like the shiniest object, and really a lot of the information is in the consistent, what people would call the boring work, like
Mm,
those infrastructures, the corporations, those mechanisms that run the world aren't going to be very loud and shiny. And it's important that, you said that you talk about the most boring things, but sometimes those boring things are actually the most powerful things.
mm,
So I definitely want people to get that knowledge as well. Like, you need to do the boring work sometimes, it must be
absolutely. And that's part of it too. I go for in investing in crypto, I just go for the use cases that I think have the highest possible market cap potential, right? Like I invest in a lot of cryptos in the payment space that on the high end could be multi trillions in market cap. Some people like investing in meme coins, and how high can that realistically go? Maybe a billion, maybe two before shit hits the fan. So it's about choosing the highest potential for your coin to grow.
right. And what I also want to talk about as well is um we're talking about meme coins and things like that, which is like very specific to day traders. And for me, the way people make their money is the way they make their money. But I noticed that you have more of a different strategy when it comes to investing.
Mhm.
Um, and I just want you to talk about the reason why you choose to be more of a long-term type of holder when it comes to your investments rather than more on the day trading side of things.
Yeah. So the reason I do it that way is because being a long-term investor decreases my probability of being wrong, right? So the more moves you have to make in order to make money, the more likely you are to make a mistake in there. So day
Mm,
traders, you could first of all, the statistics around day traders is that only around 5% of them are actually really profitable, whether it's the stock market, whether it's crypto. It's about 5%. And you have to realize you're going up against the Black Rocks of the world, the Steve Cohens of the world, AI, all these algorithms, and you're just over here getting news that a Bitcoin ETF's about to get approved, thinking you're smart or some genius. No, you're not. You're not going to beat them. They have trillions of dollars at at their disposal. The best thing you could do is park your pennies next to the billionaires' dollars and wait for them to let the market play out, right? Because even if, let's say, I have a projection that I think XRP is going to be $1 in about a week or two, I genuinely believe this. What if I'm wrong? Absolutely nothing happens. I don't lose any money. Maybe I have to wait a little longer, but I still make money down the road, even though I'm anticipating that. So it's yeah, I just know that this market is ruthless and I want to decrease my probability of being wrong. That's the main reason why.
and when it comes to the crypto space specifically, um, I think the awareness gets blocked by a lot of the media and a lot of the big corporations. Um, and it's very difficult for the average, 9 to 5 person who's going to work, get drained from going to work, and then, maybe they have a family, a bunch of kids, right, running around the house, trying to make things work. And then they look on the news or the media and they're like, crypto is for criminals. Like if, for example, Jamie Dimon a few weeks ago in Chase Bank was talking about, if I was the government right now, I'll shut down all crypto. And how do you separate the truth from the false narratives?
The information that's publicly accessible is typically used to get you to do what other people want you to do. So on NBC today, Jim Cramer said um, Bitcoin is indestructible. And this
Right.
kind of aligns with something I've been saying recently. That's been, as soon as this ETF gets approved, that'll likely be the top of Bitcoin in the immediate short term, right? That Jim Cramer's always wrong in regards to when he points out a stock or a crypto or anything. So much so that they made an ETF called the inverse Jim Cramer ETF because it's so profitable that it outperforms the S&P 500. So so it's kind of one of those things where you have to understand something where most people have their eyes on already, or if most people are getting into something already, it's too late. You have to look at information that's very boring, that isn't getting mainstream headlines. Like when Dogecoin was approaching $1, and Elon Musk went on Saturday Night Live. That was the top of Dogecoin, right? When you
Mm.
think it's supposed to be the most bullish because everyone in the world is talking about it, that is the most dangerous time to put your money into something. So, and you see it time and time again. You think people would learn, but most people aren't paying enough attention, and most people follow the herd.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that's very difficult. And I guess, it's built that way intentionally where the masses are usually get led astray. And when you talk to someone who's in the masses to tell them that don't follow the masses, like, it gets really awkward. And unfortunately, that's why people miss out on a lot of opportunities.
Mm.
Uh, but I do have a question, right? So, the crypto space, things can shoot up like out of nowhere. You can just wake up one day and see one of your coins go to the moon, and it feels absolutely euphoric. When these upswings and these downswings are happening in these volatile environments, what strategies do you have for the regular person to stay mentally grounded and not lose their shit?
Oh, that's a great phrase for it, not lose their shit. It's it's I think the main strategy is anticipate it beforehand, know that it's possible to see that type of ROI in a short period of time. Like with XRP, for example, it's when it reached its all-time high, it went from around like 40 cents to $3.50 in 2.5 weeks. That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable returns.
Right.
Most people didn't sell because they were at that point where we're like, we're going to keep going, we're going to keep going. The way to do that, the way to lock in your emotions is to lock in the money. Just lock in some profits. Take 25% out, take 30, 40% out, because most people would rather imagine some hypothetical number your coin or your investment can go to, as opposed to realizing actual gains. And I don't understand why. It's probably greed. Um, Ignorance is part of it too. But if you have a 10x return and you're not satisfied with that, then you might have to deal with the consequences of waiting a couple more months to another year or two for that opportunity to come back. Right? A lot of people love crypto because they hear stories about overnight millionaires and money being made. People that made money overnight in 2021, they were waiting since 2017, 2018. They just came out the woodwork and said, "Yeah, I made this money." So it's you don't hear the dark side. The dark side of crypto is really, really bad. FTX collapsing, Terra Luna collapsing, bankruptcies of Celsius and BlockFi. People got their money locked up on exchanges, stolen. They haven't gotten it back yet. Prices collapsed 95%. You have to stay grounded in those times when you're up, because you need to prevent yourself from losing all those gains during the bear market, because that comes, right? So you have to decide whether that extra 10% and maybe it going a little higher is worth waiting 4 years.
I mean, that's intense, and also, I think what plays a role into it as well, especially in my first 2 years, is social media. When there's so much hype on Twitter, on
Mm-hmm.
crypto, when things are going to the moon, and that's when all the outrageous numbers start popping out, and you can be mentally satisfied with a number, but then you'll see something that can just trigger like an extra FOMO in you. So
Mm-hmm.
just curious, when it comes to social media, because you have a special talent of being able to read the XRP army, the crypto community. How do you go about utilizing social media when it comes to investing, if you do at all?
Yeah, it's a balancing act because I have the sentiment of um the crypto community at my fingertips. So I can make a post saying I think XRP is going to $1 in a couple weeks. And when I read the comments and people are like, nothing's happening, you're a piece of shit, fuck you. I'm like, oh, okay, this is good. This is bullish. And that doesn't make any sense, right? Because it's like everyone's negative and everyone hates you. And that's good because when everyone loves you and everyone's ready to really get behind you, that's typically time when it's higher. You need to start getting prepared to sell and take profits, and it's tough because as a content creator for crypto, as prices go up, your views go up, right? Interest goes up. That is the most ideal time to benefit from the market and people's emotions. But that's when if you're a good person, you have to tell people, okay, guys, I know that we've been waiting 4 years for the market to go up, and I know that it's only been 2 weeks of us going up really quickly, but that's it. It's over.
That's it.
And then people don't want to hear that shit, right? Because it's like, what do you mean that's it? This is so quick. I've been here for so long. Yeah, I know, that's it. It's over. So it's a balancing act, brother. People will hate you while we're down, and then they'll hate you when you're up because you're telling them we're going back down. So it's tough. It really is.
And just for like, so it's really just a psychological view of everything that's going on pretty much from social media and just using that reverse psychology on what the euphoria
Mm-hmm.
really is and everything that's going on.
Yeah.
And what do you see coming next in the future? Like I know crypto is still in the beginning stages. Like how far do you think, how close are we to a mass adoption in your opinion?
Specifically, um, because I have connections in crypto, I know kind of what some teams and leaders and companies are doing. And I kind of just view crypto as tech, like they're tech companies to me.
Right.
And in general, tech companies, even in traditional markets, are marketing and are hiring, but for short term. So they're hiring short term employees. And by short term, I mean for like the next 6 to 12 months, because I do believe there will be a bit of a bull run or a bullish market, quote unquote, in 2024. But there will also be a big crash at some moment in time, right? Um, it's being speculated that the Fed is going to cut rates. And while a lot of people believe that that's bullish for markets, what happened the moment Trump cut rates in 2020 after COVID is, and the exact moment he did that in March 2020, the market crashed. Now we went on a bullish uptrend afterwards, but the market did crash. So I do think that that crash will cause a panic because politicians they don't necessarily like markets to crash during election years, right? Because the people in power need things on their face to be nice and tidy. Things need to look good. Um,
Unless you're Joe Biden.
hmm?
Said unless you're Joe Biden.
Oh no, everything's great right now. Of course, bro. Come on now. Things look amazing. But
Right.
that is what they like to do. I do expect the market to kind of teeter and stay propped up for a little bit. But if you really want to become a millionaire in 2024, you have to be positioned in this type of market and anticipate what their agenda is, right? AI is coming.
Right.
There will be a stock market crash. A lot of people will get fired at some point, right? Jobs will be replaced by AI and automation. And what does that all mean? Politically, we're getting more into a welfare state here in America. And because of that, I do think that universal basic income may be a policy shift that really gains some traction as people suffer because they're losing their jobs and because of AI coming. I think that's going to be a way that they incentivize CBDCs. Central bank digital currencies are just like digital currencies made by the central banks of different countries, and their programmable money. I think that most people around the world don't want one because a lot of people correlate it with the loss of freedoms. But if it's incentivized through universal basic income, where you have a digital wallet on your phone and you get paid from the government or directly after you lose your job, after there's a big crisis because of a market crash and AI took your job, people will be desperate. And that could be a way where that gets adopted. Me personally, I'm invested in a lot of cryptos that are part of that CBDC infrastructure, not because I like central bank digital currencies, but because I believe that the people that print trillions of dollars out of thin air are going to win. Why? Because they print trillions of dollars out of thin air and they have guns. That is it. I hope that answer makes sense because it's it could get complex. There's a lot more to it, but these are some things that I do see coming within the next year to couple years.
Um, it's interesting because, we're talking about a huge force of power, being able to print money and also having guns. And we're also in the political landscape of, Trump getting um, off the ballot in multiple states. And we're looking at, you know, it's just a scary time. It reminds me of, I feel like I'm in 1940. That's how I
Mm.
feel right. It is just like I'm in 1940 Germany, but it's not a Nazi. It's just a very two different views going on. I don't know. It's very interesting. I just wondered on your perspective, like as these things go on, um, do you have any like feelings of a civil war or something happening, something similar to that magnitude happening in America in the next couple of years as adoptions growing through with all these different levels of technology?
I think that social media has really divided us completely and absolutely. I think COVID exposed the fact that people live in different realities with the same information available. Um, these algorithms force feed us confirmation bias, and I think that's dangerous because we can fall too far, too deep into one side or another, and that's where a lot of the polarization comes from. Um, if you really want to go down the rabbit hole, I think there's been a lot of ideological penetration from other countries around the world into the American media and education system that's radicalized some people on both sides, by the way. It's not just one side or another, but um, overall, I think the most important thing people can do is just prepare with assets that can conserve wealth, uh, food, water, have maybe some homes in different places, maybe in different states, maybe another country or two, just in case that does happen, because it's very possible, right? Ray Dalio talks about it in the book Changing World Order. When a country starts failing, civil war is one of the things that could happen. And while I pray that it doesn't happen, um, when parties get as radicalized as they are, and people can't agree, and we can't have civil discourse, and people feel like they're not being heard, that's when the darker sides of humanity come to the forefront. So it's not out of the question. I expect 2024 to be a year of big wealth transfer, but also a year of a lot of political volatility, right? So
And I think this conversation is very important, and it also ties into the importance of investing as well, is because, especially being a son of a family, of immigrants coming from Dominican Republic. And my mom, she came to America during the Dominican Civil War. So her family was
mm,
escaping that, right? Um, and having the economic power and freedom, especially in different assets that are not just valuable in America, but all over the world, is very important for people to have and to understand the huge importance of, because there's a level of humility that we all need to understand that anything can happen to any of us around the world, when there's a technological shift, like people in different countries, this gets huge. People go to war to have control over these things. And for individuals, understanding the state that we're in and having uh, a strong sense or a safe sense of paranoia, being able to put yourself in position to be successful is super important for yourself and for your family and for the safety and for the survival of your legacy. So even though this can be kind of an outrageous conversation, oh shit, we're getting into civil war, even though we just started talking about crypto, it all ties in together. And the more people are able to open their eyes to that fact, then the more that they'll take investing and their future and the cost. There was a quote that I read. It was like, you got to understand the daily cost of every decision that you make today and how it impacts your future. I kind of paraphrased it, but that's really what it's all about. And that's why, I'm so glad to be a part of this community and follow the Bearable Bull, because he's not just talking about what the mainstream media is talking about, but he's looking between the lines and being a very true voice of power and speaking the truth. And that's something that's very difficult to find and learn from these days. So a lot of appreciation to you, Bull. Um,
Thank you, thank you.
and I also wanted to talk about, one more thing, because I know you're a busy man, you got things to do. Um, you're widely known for your investing genius, but you're just as great as an artist. I noticed that you take a lot of videos, a lot of different photography as you're giving out information in your social media. And I was just curious, what inspires you when you take these pictures? And, what do you want the world to gain from that?
Yeah. I just I like the idea of giving people visualizations of what's possible, you know. Being someone that was where a lot of people were and now I'm a lot more free. I have um I've made it through the dark side of crypto and entrepreneurship and now I'm in a better place. I want to show people what the other side can look like. A lot of people like the the flashy APs or some Bugattis, right? But it doesn't have to be that way. You can have that if you'd like, but living a life that you're content with, you're happy with, and you're at peace with, while also motivating people is a way I like to live. And that's really what goes behind it, just giving people a vision of what's possible and showing people what the world looks like, because it's a beautiful reality we live in, but um, you have to
Yeah.
make it happen. You do have to make it happen.
Any thoughts about where to travel next?
Oh, for me personally, or for everyone,
For you
I'll be
personally,
going to a. Oh, go ahead. What'd you say?
yeah, for you personally, just traveling outside of it, you have like any destinations that you're excited to go to?
Yeah, yeah, I'll be going to Australia and then Japan in March. That'll be fun. A nice little culture shock for me, but I think I'll enjoy it. My Australians are a powerful cult over there. They're great people.
Awesome, man. That sounds exciting. Yeah, man, I appreciate you, Bull. Always love, learning from you as you always give out incredible information. Make sure to follow the Bull, join his Discord. It's an incredible community, and they're giving all sorts of information, keeping everyone on their toes. And, through that, my favorite part about it is, when he speaks on his AMAs and everyone's able to have an honest conversation with the Bull, learn a lot from him, which is super awesome. You also get his portfolio, his courses, his videos. It's incredible. And Bull, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for your time. God bless you, brother.
Hey, bless you too, bro. And before we leave, just tell people that may be coming through from my audience what you do a little bit. Just like
Uh,
I know that you're an artist and you're also an entrepreneur. What is it that you do so people know?
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I'm an artist. Obviously, these are my paintings. I started a brand called Haiku, and what Haiku is inspired by the macaque monkey in Japan that goes through tornadoes, hurricanes, volcanoes, all these different sorts of atmospheres, and they use their abilities to adapt to their environment, to overcome obstacles. And that's kind of the mindset that I carry. And I definitely do that in a way where I like to impact the community through community service and nonprofit work, as I've done a lot of marketing and raised millions of dollars to help kids in after school programs dealing with mental health issues, to help kids that are struggling in the hospitals to send toys to them in the holidays, to help out the homeless, well, hygiene kits, provide food for them in the homeless shelters. I've also even helped out dogs. And now one of the things that I'm really excited and looking forward to is opening up a behavioral mental health clinic out here in Houston, in honor of my father, who unfortunately passed away due to suicide and drug addiction. And I'm also doing a lot of podcasts and videos. So really excited for all of you to join in. And the most important thing that, that I want to leave as an impact through all of this is doing something to help out the community and helping others, and keep in mind of putting other people first. I think that's super important, especially in today's world. Definitely do you, you know what I'm saying? Take care of yourself. Self-care is the best care. But whenever you go out there in the community, just be the best version of yourself and try to help other people. And that's what I aspire to do every day, is just help make an impact and help someone else.
Yeah, that's beautiful, brother. You named a lot. You powered through the longest list of you powered through the longest list of achievements I've ever heard, to be honest. But in all
Appreciate
seriousness, the reason I wanted you to say that is because a lot of people they say, where do you find the time to do XYZ? And I think a big problem in today's society is, I like to call it TikTok brain, whereas people can't focus for more than 10 seconds on something without getting distracted or bored. Maybe even people just procrastinate too much. And you'd be shocked to see how much time you have in the day, when you just uh, disconnect, unplug from all the distractions, and just focus on your purpose. And one of the reasons I really wanted to do this is because you're one of my favorite people in the community. Right, you do a lot. You help give back quite a bit, and I think your voice deserves to be heard. You're powering through. This is your first super real crypto bull market, right? 2021
right.
was okay, but 2024 is going to be looking a lot better. So I hope people follow you on your journey and you keep building and killing it, brother. For sure. Thank you so much.
Thank you. That means the world to me, man. Appreciate you.
All right. Hey, to everyone coming in, thank you so much for being here. And to your community, brother, thanks to all of you as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.